Hey everybody, welcome back to No Jumper News. It's Adam22 here with your man AD. Let's get right into these stories. So first things first, we got Chet Hanks. He's facing backlash again for defending his use of his Jamaican accent, claiming that he is not trying to offend anybody after repeatedly being accused of cultural appropriation. Chet joined Clubhouse, the new voice-based social media app, and addressed the backlash in his all-love chat room. When asked if he still planned on speaking patois specifically around people who may not be sympathetic to the Caribbean culture or understanding of the history, Chet replied by comparing his use of the Jamaican accent to mimicking an English one. Guys, it's really as simple as this. If I get on a binge and watch a bunch of English gangster movies and I go around ordering coffee at Starbucks and I'm with my friend and I go, "Give me a latte, governor," I'm not shitting on English people. Many have taken offense to his unapologetic response. Other members of the discussion, which was posted on Twitter, tried to explain that the British people have not faced oppression in the way that Jamaicans have, so his comparison is disputable. He replied, "I understand that. I'm aware of the history. I'm aware of that," adding, "I'm not trying to offend anybody." So it's definitely a hot controversy. Is Chet okay doing this Jamaican accent, or is he not? One of his explanations has been coming back to bite him in the ass, where he said, "If you don't have a problem with a black person wearing a cowboy hat and cowboy boots and loving country music, then why do you have a problem with white people wearing braids and gold teeth and getting into hip-hop music? It's this whole idea of theft if they steal it from us." You know, I'm shocked that this is the first time that I've heard people get offended or upset about Chet Hanks doing this Jamaican accent. I've always wondered where this came from and why he was so committed to it. Like, I know a lot of people who might, bust out a funny accent from time to time, but I mean, this is a dude who every time you see him go viral, it's because he's busting out this accent. And I do want to say that I loved when he hollered at Adele and he used this accent because, I don't know, it just seemed like the perfect venue for it. Do you find this offensive or what?
Nah, I remember every time he went viral, the ladies in the shade room comments were just loving him. So I don't see the big problem with it. It'd be different if he was coming off as being offensive or he was trying to do something degrading. I think he's just doing something that everybody's doing right now.
Don't you think that it's a very thin line between just sort of making fun of it and wholeheartedly embracing it, in particular because I would assume that Chet Hanks doesn't have any sort of background where this was part of his life. I want to know who put him on to that. I would assume he got some Jamaican friends. Maybe they busted out around him, but did he go out of his way to become so good at it? Because I think that's the problem. If I started busting out that accent repeatedly, I think people would be really upset because I would presumably not be good at it. But the fact that he seems like he's very, very well versed in this culture and this accent, that's kind of the shocking part that I think gives people some room to give him some leeway. But I'll be honest, I like the fact that he's not apologizing because clearly he loves doing this accent, and it's very, very tempting when you're a public figure to come out and say hey, I'm sorry for everything I ever did. This will probably happen to you at some point where you get famous enough that all of a sudden you got to apologize for everything you ever did in your entire life. I like the fact that he is the son of a megastar. He himself is pretty damn famous, and that he clearly doesn't really care that much, and he loves this voice so much that he just don't want to give it up.
Honestly, I don't even know what his regular voice sounds like.
I'm not interested either. I want him to speak like that only, exclusively, for the rest of his life.
I agree with that. Next story. Cyrus is taking back her racist remark towards Candace Owens after she jumped in the middle of her dispute with Harry Styles. Harry Styles made fashion headlines last month as the first male solo to cover Vogue magazine wearing a dress. This prompted Candace Owens to attack Harry on Twitter for not being manly enough, tweeting, "There is no society that can survive without strong men. The East knows that. In the West, the steady feminization of our men at the same time that Marxism is being taught to our children is not a coincidence. It's an outright attack. Bring back manly men." In Noah's attempt to defend Harry, she shared a photo from her shoot to show Instagram story writing, "He wears this dress better than any of you nappy ass hoes." She said that. Her inappropriate use of the word nappy immediately sparked outrage online, prompting a public apology. On her Instagram story, Noah issued her apology for using a racially charged and insensitive word, writing, "I am mortified that I used the term without knowing the context and history, but now I know, and I'm horrified and truly sorry. I will never use it again. Thank you for educating me. I in no way meant to offend anyone, and I'm so sorry." Harry also caught wind of Candace's comments and gave his response by posting a photo on Instagram of him eating a banana with a caption, "Bring back manly men." Okay,
so Noah Cyrus, I met her back when she did this photo shoot with Lil Xan, and I actually made a vlog about it, but it seems that she didn't know the history of the word nappy, which is kind of shocking. I saw something where she initially said that she thought that nappy meant like tired, like it looks like you need a nap.
What?
I know. I was so astounded by that. I'm like, wow, you got to really live in a bubble if that's your perception of where that word comes from. So, I don't know. Candace Owens is not the most sympathetic figure. I don't know if you know too much about her, but
yes, I do.
She's on the right. She's a huge Trump supporter. She's pretty much constantly saying a whole bunch of bullshit on Twitter that is like unequivocally wrong. So Noah Cyrus thought that she was going to get some bars off on Candace Owens, but then she just went a little too far and she crossed over into the territory of racism, I guess you could say.
Look at the parallels. We were just talking about the nigga John, what's his name, Imus?
Imus, yes.
Who said nappy-headed hoes.
Right.
And I remember people being so upset about that.
And that was like almost 20 years ago. And I remember that being like one of these like sort of moments where you sort of realize like, oh, you can get called out for racism even if the thing that you did wasn't like, you know, it's not like he was saying that he hates black people, but it's like that was sort of a realization 20 years ago that still sort of seemed new of like, oh, like you definitely are not in a position where you can use a word like nappy-headed hose. And to see Noah Cyrus, of all people, who literally probably wasn't born when that Don Imus thing happened, to see her somehow accidentally throwing herself in the same scandal is pretty crazy. I do have to say that I kind of feel Candace Owens to a certain extent because the way that the media just like takes Harry Styles and just shows him so much love as if he's like a hero because he posed in a dress. I mean, I think it's fucking bizarre. Like, I honestly don't care if he wants to wear a dress, but I also just don't really identify how this makes him like a hero in any sort of way.
I don't know who the hell he is.
I honestly don't know who he is either. And I had to Google who is Harry Styles, and it's just, he's some fucking musician guy, like whatever. But I mean, why is anyone impressed by him wearing a fucking dress? He's very famous. We don't know who he is, but apparently he's huge.
Well, Don Imus.
You gonna wear a dress soon?
No.
You think any of your homies are?
I wouldn't put it past people in 2020.
Certain people, yeah. I don't know. You get kicked out of the Crips if you wear a dress?
Yes.
No. Okay. Either way, I mean, this is just the biggest like face palm moment where I was just like, Noah, oh God, like, how did nobody teach you better?
How old is she?
She's pretty young. I think she's like maybe early 20s, 21, something like that.
She definitely probably didn't know.
Yeah, that's the funny is that if you're like, it's just an example of her living in a bubble. Like she probably never had anybody say anything super racist around her. I don't know how many black people are in her life, but it would appear that not enough for her to have really spent much time figuring out what is offensive and what isn't. So I mean, I give her a pass in that it's like, I don't think that she's racist. I don't think she would not have said that if she knew the actual connotation. It's just the fact that she didn't know the connotation is kind of amazing.
A tip for all white people: do not use the term nappy.
Maybe just don't talk about black people's hair in general, if possible.
You do not. Black men not supposed to talk about black women's hair. So
one time
definitely
I pointed
don't do
out
that.
AD has a cool little swoop shaved into his hair.
Yeah.
He reported me to the NAACP.
You about to say the WB? I know
No,
you was.
the WWF.
No, you about to say the WB.
Okay, YouTube, thank you very much for tuning in. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back real soon with more news. Thank you.